So hello guys, welcome back. This is the second part of the Google Cloud Professional Cloud Architect exam, and here's a question number 31. And yeah, this is the four options. You have to select the right one answer. And the first option is the Google Cloud deployment, and the second one is the on-premises deployment, and third one is the attached cluster deployment, and the fourth one is the AWS deployment. So you have to select the right one correct answer, and the right answer is Google Cloud deployment. And here the explanation that the correct answer is the Cloud deployment. The other deployment do not provide the multi-clustered ingress services. I think you go, yeah, I assume that you got the answer and with the explanation. Moving ahead to question number 32. So this is a question. A team of professionals want to use a service account with a new application. The service account will be assigned role need for the application to function correctly. So is the security risk for developer which has to manage when using the service account? So the option one is the Google service account cannot be assigned for predefined roles, and the service account cannot be assigned custom roles. The developer will need to assure the service account key is to not accessible to any identity not as authorized used to use it. And the last one option is the developers will need to secure an application API key so it is not accessible to any identity not authorized to use it. So the right answer is developer will need to secure the service account key so it is not be accessible to any identity not authorized to use it. And here the explanation that a service account are authenticated with the service account key, and the key must be stored securely so they cannot be used by the unauthorized user. And the service account can be assigned custom and predefined roles. The application may or may not be not have an API which use an API key, but that is separate from the service account key. I think you got a point. I think you get a point. And moving ahead to question number 33. And here's a question. So you have to select the right one option from the below options available. Like the option one is a migrate to the cloud data proc and use a multi-regional persistent disk. Migrate to the BigQuery and use the HBase API, and the migrate to Google Big Tables and Big Tables and use the HBase API. And the last one option is the migrate to Google Cloud Data Proc and use the cloud storage container. And the right answer of the question number 33 is option C, migrate to cloud big data and use the HBase API. And here the explanation, you can pause the video for getting the better understanding of the explanation of the correct answer, like answer 3. And the question number 34 is, so EHR Healthcare has migrated a number of applications to containers, and they realized that their current ad hoc procedure for working with the containers will not scale, and they have asked for your recommendation for tools and procedures to improve the container management without hampering with the developers or adding the excessive operations overhead. What GCP services would you recommend they use to improve the way of containers are managed and deployed? So you have to choose a true correct answer from the right options available. Like the first option is Google Cloud Run, and the second one is the Cloud Build, third is Container Registry, fourth one is Cloud Data Flow, and the last one is a cloud functions. And the right answer of the question number 34 is, so yeah, option B and option C, cloud build and the container registry. Here the explanation, so you have to get a better understanding of the correct answer. Perfect. And moving ahead to question number 35. So here's a question. So you have to select the right one answer. The first option is accelerator optimized, balanced, memory optimized, and cost optimized. And the right answer is, yeah, option C, memory optimized. And here the explanation that memory optimized machines are the good options. The statistical operations are not become commute intensive, so that the accelerator optimized machine is not needed. And here the other incorrect answers of the explanation. So moving ahead to question number 36. 36, yeah. So you have to containerize the several application and want to use an orchestrator's platform to deploy them, and you also want to minimize the cost and operations overhead. How would you deploy the application? Like either options available that in a containers GKE cluster like a Google Kubernetes engine and Cloud Kubernetes engine, like, and second one is using the continuous integration and continuous deployment like a CI/CD, and is a third one is a in an autopilot GKE cluster, and fourth one is using the app engine standard. And the right answer is in an autopilot GKE cluster. And here the explanation of the why it is the is an E in an autopilot GKE cluster. And the question number 37 is, a SaaS provider has a number of enterprise customers that uses the Google Cloud. This customer want to access the SaaS services with the low latency and with the minimal charges for sending the data to the SaaS services for analysis. The SaaS provider is migrating to the cloud data to take the advantages of the Google Cloud network. So which else could the SaaS provider do address the customers' interest in the low latency and minimizes the networking charges? And the options, one is the use the cloud Armon, second is the use cloud CDN, third one is implement a VPC network peering, and the last one is implement share VPCs. The right answer of the question number 37 is, yeah, option C, implement VPC network peering. Yeah. So here's the explanation why it is a option C. The correct answer is to implement VPC network peering, which provides the internal address connectivity across the organization with the low latency then available with the net external addressing. And here the other incorrect answers explanation why they don't why this is not a correct answer. And the next question is, so here's a question, and you have to select the right one answer. Like here's the example, like defense in the depth, continuous integrations, reliability engineering, and appearing. The right answer for question number 38 is option C, reliability engineering. And here the explanation, this is a couple is example of decoupling services to limit the impact of failures or degraded the services, which is pattern used in reliability engineering. And here's the other right incorrect answers explanation why is it not other options. So question number 39 is, here is a question number 39, and you have to select the right one recommended that they can use to track the data and about the top performers. Like option one is Sandra and a big BigQuery, Cloud SQL, and a Cloud Spanner. So the right answer of the question number 39 is, I think, Cloud Spanner. Yeah, so Cloud Spanner is the right one answer because it is a globally scalable database that is strongly consistent. And otherwise, the distributed database and Cloud SQL is the managed database, and the BigQuery is an analytical database suitable for the low latency and transactions processing at a global consistency. So the question number 40 is, a financial services company want as much control as possible when managing encryption key for sensitive data. They are migrating several applications from the another cloud provider and want to continue using the key management infrastructure they have built on premises. Which kind of key management would you recommend for use in Google Cloud? So here's the four options. You have to select the right one option from the option 1, B, C, and D. So So the right answer of the question number 40 is, yeah, the customer supplies encryption key. And here the explanation why the customer, why the option D. Like the correct answer is the customer supplies encryption key, which give the customer full control of the encryption life cycle control. Yeah, Google and other options you have not is incorrect answers. Like Google Cloud Key Managed Service store the key in the Google Cloud infrastructure, so provide less control to customer than the customer managed key, and the default encryption gives the customer the least control over the encryption key, and the federated encryption key is not a valid key management option. I'm moving ahead to question number 41. So here's a question number 41. An audit of your company's cloud security practice has determined that using the Google Cloud managed encryption key does not comply with the contractual and agreement your companies has with the customers. Auditor have determined that your company can use a your service for storing the encryption key inside of deploying the key management infrastructure on the on-premises. So which Google Cloud service could you use to store the encryption key? Here are the four options. You have to select the right one. The right answer is Google Cloud Key Management Services. And here the explanation that the option the Cloud Key Management Service used for storing the key data managed for customers by the management customer. And here that's other incorrect answer explanation. So moving ahead to customer 42. A function deployed to cloud functions is having higher than the expected average latency. You would like to optimize the functions following the Google suggested best practice. Which of the following might you try? So here's the two options you have to select it from the below five options. So the right answer is option 1, reduce the amount of imported code, and option C, use a lazy initialization or the global variables. Like, yeah, and these are recommended practice for improving the functions options. Here the other options you do not used, and these are correct answers. So moving ahead to customer 43. The data scientists at EHR Data Healthcare are developing the predictive analytics model. They are working with the personally identifying the information PII, and they want to mitigate the risk that PII data may be exposed. And here is the other question. So you have to select the right one. So which else the might data scientists use to limit the access to their data and applications? So you have to select the two options from the below options available from the by five options. And the right answer is I think, any guesses, guys? So I reveal the question 43 answer. Yeah, option B, use the data loss prevention service, and option C, use VPC service control. And here the explanation why is it the options B and C. So which the correct answer you to use data loss prevention service, which can be personally identifiable information, and use the VPC control, which can restrict the access to the Google Cloud services. And here are the other explanation is incorrect answer. Why it is a incorrect answer? Here the explanation. So moving ahead to customer 44. The finance company, the finance department of your company want to migrate the relation database to Google Cloud SQL. They will have to keep the on-premises database as a system of the record for several months. They would like to have a version of the database in the Google Cloud that is keep up to update with the on-premises database. How would you recommend they keep the cloud SQL database synchronized with the on-premises database? So here the four explanations. So there is the four options. I think the option A is the right one. Let's check. Oh, I'm wrong. Option C is the right one. Like, use the database migration services and create a continuous migration job. And here the explanation that the database migration service and create a continuous migration job to capture the changes. and here the other options. That is incorrect. So moving ahead to customer 45. And team of developers is working to implement a recommended releasing engineering practices. Which of the following should the implement? Deploy frequent release, have at least two developers executing the release steps to minimize the risk of mistakes, enforce the policies so the human peer review, enforce the policies so the automations, deploy new features in the batches not more than once per week. And the right one answer is option A, deploy the frequent release, or option C, enforce the policies through the automation. Because using the batch release at most per weeks is no recommended practice for the other incorrect options. So moving ahead to customer 46. You would like to try the traffic splitting for application app engine application. So which of the options are available to use? Like option 1, B, C, D, E. Like traffic splitting by partitions, traffic splitting by IP address, traffic splitting by cookies, random traffic splitting by hash value. So you have to select the right three options. The right three option is option B, C, D. Traffic splitting by IP address, traffic splitting by cookies, traffic splitting by random traffic splitting. So yes, so right here is the option B, C, D, and the right answer. There, yes. So options 47 is question 47 is here is a question number 47. You have to select the right one option. Like ensure the collected metrics are returned to the Google Cloud bucket, accessible to the alert. Install them monitoring the Azure agents to collect custom metrics. Ensure logging router is configured to route the custom metrics to the correct string. Ensure the collected metrics are returned to the cloud pop sub topics accessible to the alert. The right answer is option B, installing monitoring agents to collect custom metrics. Here is the explanation for your references. So moving ahead to customer 48. Here is the customer 48. You have to select the which recommended database like Bigtable, Cassandra, BigQuery, Cloud Spanner. So the right one answer is Bigtable. The correct answer is Bigtable is if provide a low latency triad, is horizontally scalable, provide atomic row level transactions, and can be deployed in a multi-cluster high availability configuration. Here is the yeah. Here is the other incorrect answer explanation for your references. So moving ahead to customer 49. Your company is migrating application to the GCP and team of auditor will need to review all the changes to the identify access control policies for the previous 6 months. The auditor will begin 6 months after the first application goes into the production use in GCP. You want to make sure audit logs are accessible for the available for the auditor. So which would you make sure the log data is available to the auditor? Here is option 1, 2, 3, 4, and the right answer is option D, export cloud audit logs to the cloud storage. Because the cloud login keep the logs for 30 days, so the log must be exported to keep them longer. Yeah. So question number 50 is a team of developers has to build an anomaly detector for the time series data and they want to migrate it to GCP. So we have to here's the requirement like the system requirements. So which architecture use would you recommend? And you have to select the two options like use my unmanaged instance group, use cloud memory stored, go use GKE, use the managed instance cloud, and use the memory stored edges. So the right answer is option B and option C, like a use Google Cloud memory stored mems cached and use managed instance group. And here the explanation for your references. So guys, is the second part is the end of the second part, and we will come back with the part 3 of the Google Cloud Professional Cloud Architect exams. And I believe this definitely helps you to pass the exam in first try. and I pray for you